gave my husband a copy of the Historic Illinois Journal, published by the Historic Preservation Agency of Springfield, Illinois. One article was about the Des Plaines Methodist Campground, and he thought I'd enjoy the article because it really resembled a camp that I went to as a child and as an adolescent. I enjoyed the photos and the reading of the article, but the very first paragraph is what I want to address. Quote, "The Methodists know a thing or two about camp meetings. John Wesley, the Anglican founder of Methodism, preached in the open air to the disenfranchised, the needy, and the poor in the 1700s. He even traveled to the American colonies with his brother Charles in 1735 at the request of Territorial Governor James Oglethorpe to minister to a newly formed Savannah, Georgia parish. Although his mission was unsuccessful, Wesley had planted the seeds of his religious philosophy, and the roots of Methodism eventually flowered in the southern colonies." End quote. Here's the phrase that jumped off the page at me. His mission was unsuccessful. Isn't that just the way it would look in the natural? The way textbooks have written it out? The way humankind evaluates the success of a thing? But in the supernatural, in God's order of doing things, I think it was just about the most successful mission in the United States in centuries. The key phrase that needs to not be overlooked is planted the seeds. For eventually, every county in every state in the entire United States would have a United Methodist Church in it. And at some point in history, and even now, that should represent the part of the body that has a passion and a devotion and a mission for Jesus. We met 3 Hispanic ministers in the pool at the Ramada Inn we were staying at this past Friday night. They, all 3, were born and raised in Guatemala. However, each one of these men is now pastoring in the United States, one in Chicago, one in Detroit, and one in Indianapolis. And they told Ron and I that Guatemala is hugely Christian and their guess is 75%. And we asked how that came to be. They said that in the late 1940s, the United States Church sent missionaries to their country, and a great many people were saved under that ministry, and the gospel was not only spread, but all the seeds that they planted are now bearing fruit. And isn't that God's way? Here's what he says in his word in 1 and 2 Corinthians. Paul says, "I planted the seed. Someone else watered it, but God made it grow." And in 2 Corinthians, God will give you all the seed you need and make it grow, so there will be a great harvest from your goodness. And I'm thinking that maybe that's what Jesus meant when he said that anything you seed into his kingdom would have 100-fold return on it. Not because of who we are or what we do, but because of what he can do with the little that we plant.